Hello everyone, and welcome back to Shades of Love, or if this is your first time, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm Ashlee Shades, and on this channel I share some of my own work as well as featuring other authors, and today's video is one of my Feature Fridays, and I am honored to be sharing this book with you because this one is a story of survival and of life. And while I do celebrate love on this channel and romance in all its forms, I am a firm believer that self-strength and confidence and surviving traumatic experiences is another form of love that we see often but don't talk about often enough in the world. Because I do believe that there are so many people who endure experiences that are beyond the imagination, and not all of the stories are told, and some of them sadly don't get to the point where this story is. And this author is one that I discovered through her husband. This is DuBois, and the story that I'm going to be sharing with you is a story that is based on her real life experiences of traumatic abuse and survival. She lives. She's a success story that so many other people don't get to have. And I'm very proud that she has allowed me to share some of this book with you on my YouTube channel. This one is going to be turned into a film. So she's in talks with some producers, and she's been traveling to get a PR team set up and all that stuff. So by this point, she probably already has it, which would be amazing. But this story, Twisted Crown. Here's the synopsis. Elle is a Southern belle who at first glance has it all, but isn't satisfied. A life-changing diagnosis and a divorce set her back home with her mom and dad. Life seems to be looking up for Elle when she meets Cass, a Southern charmer who sweeps her off her feet and becomes pregnant soon after the start of the relationship. But Cass is not who he seems. A violent sociopath, he mimics emotions and brutally abuses Elle emotionally, mentally, physically, and in other ways. Elle creates a world of necessity in her mind to escape the onslaught of the violence that mirrors a fairy tale. Elle finds the strength within herself to leave after her daughter is born and thinks that she has escaped the violence with a new relationship. But Cass has other plans. He will never let go of what he thinks is his. We all know somebody, or we are that somebody, who has lived through an experience like this. And if you do know somebody, please be the person that's there to help them. I will have the number to the hotline for domestic violence. But I will also have the website linked below in the description box, where you can go to find out everything you need about the film that's coming up and about how to find this book and to read more about the author and her story of survival. But without further ado, just stay tuned because I'll read you the first chapter and I'm sure you'll love it. Lust, diligence, patience, kindness, humility. At 27 years old, in a very vulnerable time in her life, Beauty met a boy, not a man, but a boy 8 years her junior and a master manipulator. He had an enigmatic smile, blonde hair, clear blue eyes, and said all the right things, all the things she wanted to hear. At first. He still was not the ideal man she had dreamed of, but he was young, wild, and was only supposed to be a fling. There was something about his possessive nature that Beauty tried to understand and was undeniably drawn toward. She had never been around someone who wanted to possess her completely, and it stoked her ego. At first, it had been enticing, a little dangerous, and fun. Beauty was enjoying the freedom, going out and having a good time she had missed out on since she had been married and settled down so young. The boy had been fond of telling her she was beautiful, smart, funny, and too good for him. All the things Beauty needed to hear to quell the niggling voice at the back of her mind. Beauty became caught up in the whirlwind of lust and romance. The intensity of his affections was intoxicating, and within a week he told her he loved her, and she'd said it back, He had been there for her through the cancer scare, even attending her final doctor's visit. He called and texted constantly. The attention was flattering and overwhelming, and Beauty reveled in it. He acted as if he could not live without her. She was a lifeblood to him, everything he had ever wanted or needed, the very breath in his lungs. So, of course, they could not be apart. Beauty fell deeper under the spell of their passionate summer romance. When he suggested they move in together after a month, Beauty hesitated but finally agreed. There was just something about him that she could not put her finger on. All she knew was that he was impossible to say no to. Beauty thought his jealous tendencies were flattering. No man had ever been so attentive and interested in every action. He made her believe she was his world, and he revolved around her. He made her trust him as she had never trusted before. Beauty opened to him about her insecurities, her hopes, dreams, and most intimate thoughts. He even managed to make her believe she had broken the rules about loving someone more. She thought, what else could this be but true love? I've never felt like this before. 2 months into the relationship, Beauty found herself so enthralled with the intense, handsome boy that she missed the subtle changes. She missed the programming. She missed the total loss of herself. She was no longer her own. She was his. The backhanded compliments that were meant to eat away at her insecurities and not genuine compliments started, but Beauty didn't understand that he was mentally breaking her down. He would say things like, "You're so beautiful," and then in the next breath, "You know, you're the biggest girl I've ever been with." Beauty wasn't big, but suddenly she was on a diet because she felt huge. He would comment her age, and she developed a new insecurity. Every kindness he gave was followed by a cutting sentiment. He hated that Beauty made more money than him, but had no problem spending it. He would talk about the future and how one day she would not have to work and he would support them and their children. Beauty had never thought of a life where she didn't work or had kids, but somehow he made the idea of being a stay-at-home mom seem like her dream all along. By month 3, when he had an angry outburst at a family function, Beauty was sympathetic to his situation. After all, he was the victim of the fight. Someone else had started it and pushed the wrong buttons. It was completely unprovoked, and her poor baby had not deserved to be treated that way. Beauty missed how he methodically consumed every moment of her time until she was cut off from everyone that she genuinely loved. Beauty was from a close, small family. They were her constant and her home. Her mother, the strong and beautiful queen, was the kind of woman she wanted to be and her best friend. Her father, the king, was her protector and the smartest man she knew. Beauty was Daddy's little princess, and she knew that he would always be there to save her. Her little brother was the perfect little prince. They were 10 years apart in age, so he held a special place in her heart. Beauty felt a sister's love and motherly love, and a special bond with him. That was a mixture of kindred spirit and partner in crime. They were Beauty's Camelot. One day she looked up and was surprised. They were all out of reach. The remnants of her home were just hazy images on the horizon. Still there, but separated by an indissoluble distance. Beauty had allowed him to cause that wedge, without even realizing he was orchestrating her isolation until it was too late. By month 5, Beauty was growing weary. The summer was coming to an end and the intensity was overwhelming her. She was contemplating ending the relationship when the unimaginable happened. It was a miracle, but never in a million years did she believe it would happen to her. Beauty found out she was pregnant. Beauty took a pregnancy test at home as a precaution. Beauty was only a few months away from the cancer scare and on regular birth control, so she was not worried. She thought that with everything that happened, the cancer, dieting, stress, her body was simply telling her to slow down. The test showed 2 pink lines. Wait, what? Was all she could process. Beauty kept telling herself, there must be some mistake. It must have been a faulty test. Naturally, as any sane princess in her situation would do, Beauty took 5 more at-home tests. When they all showed positive results, she called the queen and freaked out. Beauty insisted that her mother come to her house right away. All the testers were broken. The queen calmly told her daughter to get a blood test, and she did. It was positive as well. Beauty was approximately 6 weeks pregnant and in shock. The queen, being the true Southern woman that she was, gave her daughter 2 important pieces of wisdom that day. She said, if you have a baby, you can't be the baby anymore. Then, the gravity of the situation, the pregnancy, her daughter's shock, the fact that she was too young and beautiful to be a grandma, must have set in because she grabbed the princess and vigorously shook her. He's 19! 19! You mess around with 19-year-olds. You have fun with 19-year-olds. You don't get pregnant by one. This seemed to bring Beauty out of her stupor. The dog ate my birth control. I called the doctor and she said that I was close to my cycle and to just wait and start my next month's pills after. Then I called the vet who said that the dog would be fine, and he was. He just laid around depressed for a few days, eating everything you put in front of him. I was so worried about the dog, I forgot all about my cycle. This earned the Beauty an I raised you better look from the queen. September 26th. That was the date. It would prove to be one of the best and worst days of her life. The date would be ingrained in her memory as one with fleeting hours of joy followed by the most horrendous cruelty and pain. It was the first time Beauty would see that her boy was not a boy at all. The boy was the mask of an illusion. What lurked beneath was a monster far worse than any nightmare. Beauty's frightening beast was about to emerge. And that was chapter 1 of Twisted Crown. As I said in the beginning, if you are intrigued by this story and you want to read the rest of it, you can definitely look up the author on the website that I have shared below in the description box. You can read all about the project of the film, about the author and her story of survival and life and living now and finding love after this. I do suggest that you follow her, like her, subscribe to her stuff, everything you can, and you'll find it all in the description box below. She's such a sweet person. Sure, you'll fall in love with her. And reach out to her, share this video, like this video, leave a comment below for her. Let her know that she's not alone, and neither are you. And as always, remember that today was just one chapter of your story.